JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, policeman arrested after allegedly found with illegal gun at checkpoint. A policeman was this morning taken into custody after allegedly being held with an illegal gun and ammunition at a checkpoint in St. Catherine. The weapon was reportedly found inside his car. It is reported that while at the checkpoint, the cop acted in a manner that arose the suspicion of the security forces. He was questioned, and his vehicle was searched, and the gun was allegedly found. He was then arrested. Gun and ammunition seized in Bull Bay, 2 arrested. 2 men are now in police custody, following the siege of an illegal gun and 4 rounds of ammunition during a joint police-military operation in Pondside, Bull Bay, St. Andrew on Thursday. Reports are that a team of officers assigned to the Kingston Eastern Police Division were carrying out an operation in the area at approximately 11:45 a.m. when they saw 2 men standing along the roadway. On seeing the police team, one of the men reportedly threw away an object. The object was subsequently retrieved and was discovered to be a Glock .40 pistol with a magazine containing 4.40 rounds of ammunition. Both men were taken into custody. Their identities are being withheld pending further investigation. Still no access to slain Gabriel King's mom's phone. The mother of slain 9-year-old Gabriel King on Thursday failed to allow the police access to her cell phone as ordered by the court last week. According to Amoy Leon Issa's attorney, Chukwuemeka Cameron, she has instructed him to apply for leave for a judicial review. He said that he was unable to provide further information. However, Head of Police Area 1 Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifford Chambers said that Leon Issa's legal team had failed to file a stay of proceedings and the court order still stands. He explained that a stay of proceedings, which stops an order from coming into effect, must be filed before an appeal is filed. The police are expected to head to court on Friday to get the court order enforced. A week ago, Senior Parish Court Judge Sasha Ashley gave Leon Issa a November 24 deadline to provide the password to facilitate access to her iPhone 13 Pro Max. The police have indicated a desire to analyze information on the device as part of the investigation into the killing of her autistic son. The judge also ruled at the time that Leon Issa was not entitled to be present while her phone was being analyzed by experts. However, her attorney may be present during the process. The legal wrangling over access to Leon Issa's phone began on September 6 when the court granted the police request for her to allow them access within 48 hours. When that deadline was missed, lawmen again took the Issa to court last Friday. After the judge issued a new 6-day deadline that day, Cameron indicated that an appeal would be filed. He also said he would need to confer with his client. On January 13, young King was found with his throat slashed, his body slumped on the back seat of his mother's car. She had reported to the police minutes earlier that her car had been hijacked with the child inside. The shocking murder was widely condemned, with the police being urged to bring the boy's killer or killers to justice. Lawmen have steadily maintained that they have met roadblocks while working the case. Bellefield High School principal dispels rumors after panic attack among students. Principal of Bellefield High, Paul Grant, has dispelled rumors that a group of 5th form students preparing for exams who suffered panic attacks at the school were possessed by demonic forces on Friday. I'm dispelling the rumors, but I'm admitting that we did have panic attacks among some students on the morning shift, and our nurse, dean, guidance counselors and myself dealt with the matter. It is under control. The students were considered to be having the attacks. We got them calm and to the sick bay, he said. Bellefield High is located a few miles northeast of Mandeville. Grant explained that the students, all girls, were in class about 9 a.m. when they simultaneously had panic attacks. He added that the students are doing school-based assessments, SBAs. SBAs tend to create additional stress on students. Primarily, it was dealt with by the counselors and the dean of discipline and myself. The students recuperated. Their parents came for them and they were sent home. The morning shift was dismissed at the usual time, said Grant. Chuck admits criminals not deterred by longer sentences, but state must act. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says he accepts that harsher penalties such as moving the mandatory minimum sentence of murder to 30 years will not deter criminals, but the government has to act in anticipation of success. Referencing the new Firearms Act and Tuesday's robbery for supermarket in Manchester by gunmen, Chuck said it was clear that the penalties in the legislation were of no concern to criminals. These are persons who don't fear the penalty. Even when we put the penalty for murder at 30 years, they don't fear the penalty. But the truth of the matter is that a state must not resign. We must find them and lock them away for long periods of time, he argued. He was addressing new justices of the peace in St. Catherine on Wednesday. The robbers in Manchester stole $500,000 cash, a licensed firearm, 18 rounds of ammunition, and several cellular phones from customers. The hoodlums escaped in a waiting motor car, but one of them was later found dead. The police recovered more than 24 spent shells at the crime scene. Petrojam financial officer explains fallout with JM to court. Chief Financial Officer of Petrojam, Delroy Brown, informed the court Thursday that the relationship between himself and former general manager Floyd Grindley soured after he questioned and denied payment for an invoice that came to him. Grindley and the former chairman of Petrojam, Percival Singh, are being tried for fraud in relation to the submission of claims amounting to $73,620 between December 2016 and May 2018 for overseas travels which were never undertaken. Allegations are that Singh submitted claims for foreign travel which he did not attend, while Grindley is accused of aiding and abetting in the matter. Both were initially slapped with 8 counts of aiding and abetting and obtaining money by false pretense. Singh was charged with 12 offenses relating to the $73,620 that he allegedly took from the company. Both were slapped with additional charges, which included fraudulent conversion, aiding and abetting fraudulent conversion, conspiracy to defraud, and a count of obtaining money by false pretense. Brown, in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court, said that he refused to make certain payouts because, in his estimation, it was the wrong thing to do. In June 2017, I sent an email to Mr. Grindley to say that I was disappointed with his use of expletives. The relationship, I wouldn't say got cold, but it was not like my experience with other managers in the past. I emailed to tell him that in my entire work career, that it was the first time that undue influence was brought to bear, asking me to do something that was not correct. I was asked by Mr. Grindley to make a contribution to the Diabetes Association. Brown told the court that requests were made for him to make payouts to numerous entities, which he did not do because the request lacked approval from the board. When the board gave approvals and the documents were returned to him, he noticed that the names on the board's resolution did not match those on the checks. The trial will resume on Monday. British woman charged in $9 million cocaine seizure. A British woman has been arrested and charged in connection to approximately $9.2 million Jamaican dollars worth of cocaine at the Sands International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James, on Saturday, November 19. According to investigators assigned to the Narcotics Division, the woman has been identified as Ashanta Ferguson, a 20-year-old customer service agent of West Midlands in England. Reports are that about 7 p.m., Ferguson was boarding a departing flight to the United Kingdom when her luggage was searched. During the search, 2 kilograms of cocaine was found concealed in false compartments of her luggage. Following an interview conducted in the presence of her attorney on Monday, November 21, Ferguson was charged with possession of cocaine, dealing in cocaine, attempting to export cocaine, and conspiracy to export cocaine. She is scheduled to appear before the St. James Parish Court on Monday, November 28. Travel agent to be sentenced for fraud. A travel agent is to appear in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court for sentencing on January 23, 2023, after he pleaded guilty to not using the $69,000 a client gave him to book accommodations at a Negril hotel. The accused, Tyrese Wiggum, stood before senior parish judge Lauren Cole Montague on Tuesday as he pleaded guilty to the offense of fraudulent conversion. The court was told that arrangements were made with Wiggum by the complainant to book accommodations at the hotel for October 25 to 27. On October 19, the complainant's girlfriend transferred $69,000 to Wiggins' bank account. However, when they arrived at the hotel, the complainant learned that the money was not paid over, and all attempts to contact Wiggum proved futile. The matter was reported to the police, and after an investigation was done, Wiggum was located and arrested. Following his arrest, Wiggum offered to pay the complainant half of that money, but the man refused. "Where's the man's money?" Cole Montague asked. Wiggum told the judge that he had made arrangements with the complainant to pay over $50,000 in court for the first payment. "Who made that arrangement independent of the judge? Because court is one place in the corporate area," Cole Montague responded. Additionally, Wiggum said his brother, who was outside the court, had $42,000 to give the complainant, which was less than what was agreed. The brother was called, and the money was given to the complainant, but Wigan told Cole Montague that he had already transferred $8,000 to the complainant's bank account. When I hear these sorts of things like arrangements, I said, but the court is only one place, so there should be no other arrangements in terms of criminal matters elsewhere, she chided. Attempting to defend his action, Wigan said he was not sure what happened when he attempted to book the hotel, but it wasn't his intention to not hold up his end of the bargain. However, hearing this, the prosecutor indicated that he was not offered bail at the police station when he was arrested because he has another court matter of the same nature. This matter will be mentioned on January 23, 2023. Armed with this information, Cole Montague adjourned the matter until that date, when Wigan is expected to be sentenced. Conflicting records blamed for Edwin Path Lunch underfunding. Discrepancies with records are being blamed for the disruption of the Program of Advancement through Health and Education Path Lunch Program at the Edwin High School in Clarendon. That is according to Barrington Richardson, Regional Director of Region 7 in the Ministry of Education and Youth. Richardson said that the team is working with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security to have the issue resolved as early as possible. A November 18 memo from Principal Jermaine Harris advised students that lunches under the government's Social Safety Net program, which is administered by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, would be discontinued for the remainder of the school term, which ends in December. Once we receive additional PATH funds from the government, then we'll resume this arrangement, the memo said. Harris said last week that the announcement was nothing abnormal because this has been a situation that we usually find ourselves in. When contacted, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Colette Roberts-Risden, regarding the number discrepancies alluded to by Richardson, she quipped, "Did Edwin Allen tell you that? In that case, it should be less, asserting that if records were not updated, the school should then have fewer students on record for PATH benefits." The Ministry of Education says 905 Edwin Allen High students are on the books to receive PATH lunches. Richardson explained that the school received more than $8 million for the feeding program for the Christmas term, adding that an assessment has revealed that the records of primary school students were yet to be transferred. The grade 7 students who came in just in the height of the pandemic, their records have not yet been transferred from the various primary schools to high school, but they have their cards, so we're trying to do the reconciliation to make an adjustment, he said. The gap is with what's on the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's record and what is actually at the school, but we are still in the research period to determine what the numbers are so the adjustments can be made. Richards emphasized, however, that the students would continue getting lunches as the region has channeled other resources into the feeding program until more funding is received. On Monday, Education Minister Favour Williams said that school feeding program remains a priority budget item. Maureen Dwyer, acting permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, said she was disappointed with how the matter has been handled by the school, stressing that the onus is on the administrators to ensure the holistic well-being of students. Feeding our children is no joke. We receive $5.5 million in this budget to feed our children. So if we have to wheel and come again, it's okay. That $5.5 billion is a signal of our intent. Feeding our children is not something to play about. There are some little ones who are already subjected to all kinds of trauma and poverty, so it's not our intent that they should feel anyway, Dwyer said. I don't like how the conversation is just blossoming. If I were a child on PATH, I would feel funny. And it's not the intention of the Ministry of Education that our children should feel funny. The system should be inclusive, and our leaders on the ground will have to protect our children. They can't just splash everything out there in the public like that. They have to be reasonable. They have to be responsible in the way they talk about these things, she added. Citing communication as paramount, Dwyer said the Edwin Allen matter could have been dealt with at even a regional level. She contended that school administrators should be proactive and hastily contact the ministry for additional assistance if funds are depleted for the feeding program. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.